Hello, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of, yes, you got it, Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 9.11, and we are still even playing with Germany. Yes, of course. So let's continue this. So let's speed it up a little bit because I know it's just started this. Yes, we control the Med, we control the Baltic, we've lost a province up here, and we have an out where we're dealing with our outbreak partisans here. And we'll continue to move you forward. No, you stay where you are. You come forward. I'm just figuring there's going to be another one of these really hard fights to get these guys out of the mountains. And here, of course, we're having mostly supply issues. Oh, and we are ashore here, which in a way will help our supply issues for sure. That's a direct help. Oh, you know what we could do here? You know what we might be able to do here? Change what from could to might. Let's find Bomber Command. Again, I love this whole Bomber Command thing. Oh, we got to get you out of here. Get back up here. So you can repair in Germany. Not enough space down there. And stop eating supplies, which will help down there as well. And let's see. These are no mixed. We don't want mixed. We want medium bombers. Said could, but then I changed it to because I don't know if we're within bomber range, and I thought they said they had, and if they have added any air bases, I'm certainly not seeing them to India, or maybe that didn't get into things. So there should be like an air base down here in Salisbury. Rhodesia had an air force, well, a territorial remember, unlike America, but like Germany, but, well, no, unlike Germany, actually, I think. Yes, unlike Germany. I believe it was during World War I still. Pretty sure, yeah, because they're having, actually, right now, they just had the 100th anniversary of it, so during 1918, Britain formed its own air force. Where in America, up until the end of World War II, there was the Army Air Forces and, you know, I don't know, Naval Air Arm or whatever. I don't know if it was really specified out as a sort of different command in America. So either you were an Army pilot or you were a Navy pilot, you know, or ground crew or whatever. And there was definitely in America, you weren't just drafted into the Army and went through basic training and all that stuff, and then at some point sent over to the Army Air Forces. Some level of basic training, I'm sure. I don't know what ground crewmen went through, but it was definitely a subordinate command to the Army. And you can look, and it was sort of struggling to do its own thing, like strategic bombing, you know, which, sure, the Army wants strategic bombing, but it wants, of course, air power focused on winning battles. And, you know, Germany during World War I don't think had it. I think all of the air power was either naval, because there was German naval pilots, or Army air pilots. And, like, Japan through the whole period, and as I'm looking at in the Japanese series, and we will be making one for Hearts of Iron 3. Their whole system was divided between the Navy and the Army, separate. But Britain very early separated out an air force. So, and Britain has territorial forces, which are a type of reserve force. And there was, I think, sometime in the early 30s, before 36. Rhodesia had a territorial air unit of, you know, minimal sort of existence. But for sure, before World War II breaks out, they've got a squadron or two of some sort of planes doing something down in Rhodesia. And really gets pumped up to where there are, you know, several major fighter squadrons fighting in, I think, mainly the Southern European campaign, that were Rhodesian pilots and Rhodesian ground crews. So Rhodesia had its own air force, if you will, when it gets transferred over into, you know, when it goes the unilateral declaration of independence. Oh, we've got also, we've won here. Good. This battle, great. Won that. Minimum damage. Oh, and we also need to put in, no, not there. Create a supply convoy from, we'll go Pola to Cochin. And that way we now have supplies coming out of here. Let's look for useful provinces to pick up. These guys are slow for some reason, don't know why. Weather, okay. Monsoons or something, I'm guessing. Okay. Well, you guys go here, because you're, you know, you're colonial infantry, so you should work in this kind of rough terrain well. Fascist militia, which probably slows you up a bit too much. Yeah, we're going to remove the fascist militia. It can be its own thing. And it can guard the port. And of course, the military police, which helps for occupation duties. You guys are still slow because of the monsoon, but let's grab this province just to make sure we get rare materials and such. There we go. Burst out, and you guys are now over here. Oh, I need to reschedule. I was having oh no, come on. These guys were just ended up striking there to protect the landing forces at sea. We didn't have any. And you air intercept this region in case there's any enemy air coming like out of here. There could be, though nothing looks based there. And you come over here and naval strike. And you guys, yeah, head over there, and you can head over there. Okay, looks like we're going to defeat these Canadians. Okay, light cruiser escort roll, very good. And that's here, that's useful. Yeah, let's prove that. Okay, how big is the airbase? Smallish, but we can. That, I don't know if these guys can or can't make it to here. Yeah, I see the... There we go, ground attack. No. Okay, we need to do more aggressive because it's going to take too long. There we go. Aggressively attack them. I want to get that port because I want to get the supplies flowing. Okay, well. Well, yeah, we'll see about maybe moving some of these guys up there to clean up some of the unoccupied zones, or well, maybe we can even send them. Now, I've started to build a well, just level 1, I guess, airbase down there. I got these guys down here. How far south can they go? Not very. Okay. Yeah. Okay, you stop attacking so you get yourself better organized. No. Okay, good. Now, strike into them, hopefully before they get too well dug in. Cruiser warfare. Uh-huh. Well, we'll do rolling artillery barrages. Well, maybe this will go faster because we are in summer now. It does that sort of weird pop because it wants to center on this, but then this is the top of the map. Okay, so we are here now, obviously. And they're pushing into Elizabethville. Well, let's look at our resources here. Okay, so we snagged... Oh, good. Base level of 5 metal, which we really don't need. Good to deny it to the enemy, but they probably... Well, I don't know what Belgium needs, but the Americas probably have enough steel, but I don't know. And level 4 rare materials, which is more and more removing any need to import them, because we are also grabbed 3 base level, obviously through various occupations, and base level 4. But so that will be good there, and now we'll get even more here. 10 base level. That'll be a lot. And over here, base level 3. So, lots of headquarters units, lots of headquarters units. Let's strike into there. So maybe we didn't quite need all of these forces. Okay, you guys, you can come over to here. You're overstressing our supply situation. But I did bring up Nord. Or the newly upgraded Nord here. Well, we've won there. And we've won there. And we've won up there. How are we doing down here? Okay, yeah, you start walking, so when you get there you'll be a little more ready to fight. Okay, man, okay, you come there and then we'll join you up, because that's, you're supposed to join up with those guys. Yes, you can have metal, Liberia. And carrier aircraft prototype, very good. And we'll let that continue. We've got a lot of models there. Oh, I think we have some, yes, we have some decisions to make here that we want to make now. Okay, seaport level 4. We can do this. Obviously it's going to cut into, but it will improve our seaport levels, effectiveness, and the 179th Division. I have not made the thing to make it look prettier. This is just the raw title of it. You can't have spaces, that's why it's underscored and whatnot, but there's another file if I go in and add to it, and just never done it. Okay, this is, we are removing, was reorganized into the reserve division, reserve panzer division. So we're removing all of that. And now the 233rd. Yeah, we're using just the same image there. Reorganized into reserve panzer division. Yes, these are all things that the AI and most or many players don't understand is reserves. You know, that's what all of these units doing in the middle of Germany are, in essence, reserves. Like, oh shit, what just happened? You know, from an SS coup to a landing and whatnot. Okay, on April 5th, 43, well, a little late, the 155th Division was renamed the 155th Panzer Division on August 1st. Oh, that's probably the same year as why this happened. It was transferred to Reims in occupied France and renamed the 155th Reserve Panzer Division. It was eventually absorbed in by the 9th Panzer Division. Note, the event chain for this division is finished. You can do what you want with it now. Okay, and this one does have its own divisional symbol there. And so we got that. And even though so there we go. Let's get let's go get the skill thing. Let's just get some fair general. It's an okayish division. Yeah, there we go. The 179. So it has some, you know, reserve panzer now. That's supposed to work kind of thingy, but and still has militia, so it's not. If you're going to use it as a proper combat unit, well, either upgrade that. We're probably done with this one. I know. These yellow ones for me means they're part of an event chain, and I don't know if I just didn't read the other well enough to know whether I specifically said. This is a better division. It has self-propelled artillery. And this is actually a fairly good division here. So let's get a good divisional commander. Yeah, there we go. So we got self-propelled, Panzer Brigade, motorized reserve grenadiers, and proper grenadiers, armored. And from my research on these, obviously I'm just using the standard unit sizes here. I know I can go in, and I do on some events, because I had one viewer ask me how to look up and how to know strengths and things like this, because modders don't publish their sources, and no, we don't. And sometimes when I do have good information, like a lot of the military police units here, well, not those, these guys here, if you remember, a lot of them came in at under strength, because we did sort of come across some information on the strength, and we realized that you know, they were just a couple hundred men. They weren't 2,000 men for the unit, and we're sort of limited by unit sizes in the game. But we can, when we load them in, specify a strength for it, and then, you know, they can fill up over time. So, you know, you talk that this eventually what gets absorbed into another unit. How strong is this in manpower? Because it's a reserve division, and reserve divisions were often training divisions, so they might have very good manpower levels. And I know I've talked in the past about how old divisions almost never, I mean, we can find a few examples, but almost never get back to you know, their theoretical size. It just, they get a trickle of replacements coming in, and the rest of the manpower gets put into new divisions, and that's how most of it's done. Even when they realize that, not that, yes, Goring was an empire builder. Goring's empires definitely had bloat in them, you know, getting oversized. But I'm not going to say that the Luftwaffe was oversized. It might have been. It probably sort of was. But I'm not going to say that I know that it was. But what I do know that it was manpower was needed more desperately on the Eastern Front as soldiers than it was on ground crew. Well, probably if you're highly trained ground crew, you know, a mechanic, whatever, you know, highly trained ground crew, you weren't shipped out from it, from being the Luftwaffe. But if you're just sort of, you know, muscle, you know, you got to move those 1,000-pound bombs around, you know, you got to, you know, even though they're using, you know, in some cases mechanical lift elements, but others, you know, there's a bunch of guys with their backs pushing them up into the airplanes, you know, sort of muscling ground power, you know, manpower. A lot of those guys, the Army needs them desperately, and you got a lot of air bases around here, and having them fully staffed is really nice, so that if you want to shift air power from here to here, you don't have to shift all the, you know, the ground crews, the people that load the you know, do all the basic work to keep the aircraft going. You might, some of the specifically assigned mechanics or something, maybe fly a few of those around, but you could quickly, or even just, but very temporary, just for a day or two, fly in the aircraft, load them up with bombs, drop, you know, make a few missions dropping on, say, Britain, and then you fly back to here to go drop on the Soviets, you know. So you can have all these ground air bases staffed so that you can shift your limited number of aircraft around effectively and efficiently, and not disrupt things too much. You can do that quite well and use all the manpower. And not, again, I'm not saying it's bloated or wasted, because if you only have, say, 500 operational aircraft, to shift them around rapidly and effectively concentrate them on a particular front for a while, and then move, to other fronts as needed, that can be a real war winner. Can be, not that it would be alone. We need to put in supplies into there, I think. So let's come out of Rotterdam. And Rotterdam and Lorient. And so that can be a very effective and useful thing. But if you're having your armies destroyed and you need manpower on the Eastern Front particularly, you have the situation, well, okay, having all that extra ground power is, manpower is really nice, but not essential. Now, Goering had the influence, we've talked about this before, to say, yeah, so you need ground troops. Okay, we'll form ground Luft divisions. No, we just need them into the, transfer the army. Well, Goering put down his foot and made them that they were Luft divisions of various types. Yes, the Hermann Goering division was a rather good fighting unit. There were a few others, and we've talked about just earlier in this episode, is it Army air power or Navy air power? And should the Navy have ground troops? Well, and especially if you look at the United States Marine Corps, it can be very good to have naval ground troops. Should the air have ground troops? Well, in America, we say no, because our airborne units are part of the Army. And that's probably the better choice, probably. But, they said no, the paratroopers are part of the Army part of the air, so they were part of the air. So, yeah, so the paras and other, Luftwaffe airborne troops, they're really good. Most of the rest of the Luftwaffe ground units are junk, are just complete and total junk. They get lavished partially because they're new, meaning they're not old units, so they get new stuff coming off of the production line. Part of it is because it's Goering is influencing things, so they're getting new stuff instead of handing out the new stuff to infantry divisions and our army divisions and taking back the old stuff and handing it to the Luftwaffe. No, they're getting new stuff, so they're getting a lot of new equipment, a lot of new stuff like that, and it sort of sucks. But they don't use it well. So these units aren't very good, are a bad idea. Had you just put that, and you don't have enough institutional manpower that has ground fighting experience, training, whatever you want to call it, to create good divisions. They have good leadership, maybe. Officers can be good leaders and good commanders, but that doesn't mean that they're good combat leaders or commanders. That just means they can handle people and manage things and organize things. Now you sprinkle them throughout the army, including the officers as well as the enlisted, the NCOs even, and just the regular enlisted men. You sprinkle them throughout the army. They'll pick up, they'll learn by observing, as long as they survive reasonably long enough, and they'll do well. But they don't do well. So we know that there's a lot of manpower flowing around. These reserve divisions are getting manpower because they're training up, then normally going into new divisions. But get back to the starting point of this. I never got good information on what their equipment numbers were, or their equipment was like. You know, what were they equipped with? Could have been captured stuff. Could have been other. No, you're spending too much money as it is. Okay, you're holding and attacking. Well, you're attacking an empty place. And you two come up that way. Yeah, you're okay. Well, this is looking like it's going to be a much shorter campaign than that last one. He was in on the last one, I think. Okay, so now we have seaport level. So money a little bit more, you know, 0.2% more, and resources 0.2% more. So that's nice. That's what we're paying for. So we've had a battle off the coast of Tanganyika against what looks to be some British mini subs. The oh man, I've got them pictured in my mind. Trying to think, do what if they even had a specific name. I don't know. No, I don't remember their name. If they did even have one. The ones that they used to go after the Tirpitz, they're really cool. I know the Italians made some mini subs. I haven't really looked into those yet, but the British ones, in my opinion, are the sort of coolest, best, whatever of. Germans had some really cool ones too, but the British were still fairly small. They had I think a 3-man crew, maybe 4, but at least 3. And one of the really sort of cool thing, well, their uncool thing, in my opinion, is they're designed to go. They're mission specific. They're designed to go after the Tirpitz, sitting in a German fort, in that they want to go in there, into the port, go underneath a ship, release their sort of mines, if you will. They're sort of explosive charges that will have a timer on them once they're released, and then get out, and then the charges go up. Where like the Germans, you know, they mounted. And the Japanese, and I think the Italians, they mounted torpedoes on them to launch, which are another cool option, and one a little more flexible, I would say. The British, although one disappears, was being towed to the location, and the tow line parts and disappears. I think the rest basically sort of survive. Say sort of, because one of the crews, I believe, or one of them is damaged, you know, is spotted and damaged, and the crew gets off and is on board the Tirpitz when the mine goes off. But we call it a mine, the explosive charges, but I'm pretty sure they survive. And the other one, because I think there was 3 or was it 4, I forget, and the other one does get out, or 2. And so the British are really, and the reason they want to do that timed explosive versus like the Japanese or even the German is, if you fire your torpedo, and even if people don't see it being fired, they sort of hear the explosion. They go, "Hey, there's enemy subs here. Let's, you know, do something about this." Where the British wanted to be out of the port and gone before it goes off, and thinking that the ship is barely moved, and if no one knows that they've been there, they'll be safer. But they so they have, you know, a basic sort of commander guy, and who does have a working short periscope, and you know, mechanic, engineer, engine room guy in the back, and then they have a third sort of navigator, radio operator, other guy. But he also has, they have 2 hatches on the submarines. these mini submarines. The forward hatch, which is also, I guess, the toilet room, it's in its own sort of room, and it's in its own pressurized. So what it was designed to do, that you would go in there, seal it up, but you could wear a diving suit with air supply, and then flood it. It was designed to be flooding just that room. There's a small compartment, and then open the top up and hatch and go out. And it was designed, and they had special sort of, I think, hydraulic based or whatever cutters to cut through a submarine net so that they could go outside of their submarine. And again, they were using diving suits for going into the waters in Norway. I think they were dry suits to sort of survive the cold. And cut through submarine nets, or potentially even, I've often thought that they could have been used, to launch a, divers that were going to then go swim into a port and put limpet mines, which are much smaller, on a submarine or something. So, but I thought they were really cool. I don't know if I remember what their names were, the name of the submarine types, but yeah, they're cool. No. Okay, Battle of the Fractured Zone, and yeah, you can go back. You can go to Spain for a little while. See the ladies in Spain. Okay, let's put you. Let's see how far. Where can we put you out? Well. Nope. Here, yeah. Passive. Those we're keeping as reserves. How are these guys doing? These are electric boats, are really fancy, that I finally put donuts in there. And they seem to be, well, 1, 3, 2, 2, and 2 in the last week. So they've been hitting lots of ships. And look like they're doing fine. Haven't been shot up yet, I don't think. So yeah. We got some Italian battleships moving around. Now, I did have these guys here. Okay, good. They stopped attacking because they were, got shot up from the anti-aircraft guns, but hopefully they put a dent into them. Okay, you advance. You wait till they get to you. I'm sort of reluctant to push further ahead. Well, let's sweep across here, down here, down here. We've got forces coming behind. They will open any. So I'm just sort of afraid that they'll cut their, cut their supply rear off. If we let them come around, or if we push too far forward. Okay, you move into there as well. We'll want you dealing with the okay, no longer. Okay, they're gotten too close and they're afraid of the Americans. Okay, and these guys. Well, let's attack down into the South Africans. Just don't want to leave them in my rear, and well, this is a sort of a sucky province too. We're building up our infrastructure for supplies, for better movement. Okay, and I think we have, yes, some of these guys are here. these. I want to attach these so we can find them again. I've been losing some of my naval units. Okay, you come down here. You're going to pick up some of these guys, or all of those guys, or something like that. Okay, we'll let you get sailing here. Okay, some landing craft. Good. We'll take you on board. The India Division will take... you know, I think we're going to leave you here. And we're going to put you on board. Well, we'll leave you, I guess. Who else should we take? Because I don't want to... No. Well, I sort of do want to take Rommel, but maybe not yet. Okay. You guys come over to... well, here first. We'll put the... rebase. Ah, very good. Now, we'll put you on board. You on board. You on board. Okay, we've got a lot of these police units. And other mixed... I forget what some of those guys were going. They were going to go for to support. I don't remember. I think we're going to come over here with you guys. We'll help out that. Okay, radar training has advanced. Very good. That's down here. I guess we'll continue that. And medium fuel tank research has advanced, which opens up these, but I don't know if I'm going to do those just yet. Soon. Artillery brigades, that would be nice, I guess. And we have a little more. Let's, well, trying to make sure some of these aren't too far behind in their skill sets. And this is going to be a slow save, I think. Okay, well, we'll let that go while we'll talk, I guess. This is going to be the end of the episode here. Was thinking so anyways. Want to thank you for watching. I appreciate you if you just do that. Thank you, of course, if you hit that like button. That helps. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And, of course, I really love hearing from you. It helps the algorithms the more you chat on an episode. But also I get to know what viewers want to see, what you like about things, don't like about things, especially, you know, sometimes, you know, because I just maybe haven't, or at least haven't done on camera, like looked at what's going on in the Far East or something like that, and let me know. And yes, I'm just mostly talking on because we're watching that little clock thing go around to try to save it, and I'm not going to touch anything to possibly disrupt the save because I don't want to have to replay it. So, what else can we talk about? We were talking about how messed up Germany's use of manpower was. Not that they had enough of it, but even, okay, there we go. even though they had a bunch, they still didn't use it well. Okay, I'm sure if they'd done some major things differently, like, I'm talking structural things, like better use of their manpower, it could have affected how the war went. But those sort of structural things, I don't think are the decision points over victory or loss. We've talked about in some stuff, could the Soviets been defeated? And I think yes, they could have, but they obviously weren't. Yes, if you defeat the Soviets, you change the whole game. You don't have to be stronger than the other opponent to win or lose. All you have to be is functionally stronger at the points of contact. And yes, I know we sort of ended this, but meaning if they land 3 divisions here, and we've got 4 divisions, and we're defending versus they're attacking, and we have fortifications and whatnot, we're going to win. It doesn't matter if they have 20 divisions waiting to come in. It's, do we have more at the point of contact? And that's sort of like, if you don't have to fight the Soviet Union, can the US, because that's sort of functionally what it is, be able to have more at the point of contact? Maybe, especially if they can knock off islands and limited fronts, but don't know. Well, see you next time.